beef rendang, gulai ayam, and ikan bakar. These are just some of the Malay favorites that Singaporeans have become accustomed to over the years. But is that really all there is to Padang food, the cuisine of the Minangkabaus? Join us as we journey to the wettest markets and fish in the deepest seas of West Sumatra. All in the name of authentic Padang fare. When it comes to introducing the local Malay community, there's no better place to go than Kampong Glam. Established by Sir Stamford Raffles as the first Malay settlement in the early 19th century, this area soon became home to all Malays and Muslim immigrants on the island. Over the years, Kampong Glam has also become the #1 place for tucking into authentic Malay cuisine.
When the immigrants came here to Singapore, they comprised of different communities. Javanese from Java, they come from Bawean, from the islands of Madura. They came from Sumatra and Padang. People from Riau Island, like the Bugis, and they assimilated in Singapore. They lived side by side. So once they settled in Singapore, many of the communities realized that they can't live on their own because they live side by side with other communities, the Chinese, Indian, and so on. So they started to trade. That was how it first started, the interaction. And along with that, the kind of food that they shared. Like the Minangkabau will sell their own delicacies like Padang food that you can find here in Kandahar Street.
Ah, Padang food. There's nothing like a good nasi padang to satisfy one's appetite. But that brings to mind yet another burning question. What makes nasi padang nasi padang?
Hello, good afternoon. This is Ismail. How can I assist you?
As the chief concierge and veteran foodie, being well acquainted with the best eating spots in Singapore is all in a day's work for Mr. Ismail Basir. At the hotel, he enjoys local fare like nasi goreng, but outside, nothing compares to his favorite nasi padang.
I'm gonna take you to a place in Singapore where they serve the best nasi padang.
Opened 12 years ago by Madam Yus, a second-generation Minangkabau, Sabar Menanti 2 is one of a chain of well-known nasi padang restaurants along Kandahar Street. Originating from a roadside stall set up by Madam Yus's parents 60 years ago, the steady stream of customers is proof that the taste of Padang is still very much alive here. Unlike traditional restaurants back in her homeland, however, Madam Yus offers more than just the nasi Padang fare.
Pasal di Singapura, penduduknya kebanyakan berbilang kaum, jadi kita ikut Singapura selera. Kalau di restoran saya ni, banyak yang suka minta Jawa. Jadi kita tengok permintaan lah. Lauk kita tak boleh pedas sangat. Orang Singapura tak kuat pedas.
Nevertheless, it's obvious that the delicious spread of nasi padang dishes like dendeng balado and beef rendang is what keeps people hungry for more.
Rendang is a must.
Traditionally served during festive occasions, beef rendang is now available for consumption every day of the week. Cooked in a sumptuous blend of coconut milk and spices, the beef is then left to simmer in a mix of turmeric leaves, lime leaves, and Indonesia bay leaves for several hours. This allows the meat to tenderize and absorb the full flavor of the spices added.
Kalau di Padang, rendangnya disimpan sampai 3 hari. Dia masak sekali banyak-banyak kan, lepas tu disimpan. Kalau kita di sini enggak, hari-hari masak, hari-hari jual. Di sini agak kebersihan penting. Tak boleh simpan lama-lama.
Well, Mr. Basir for one isn't complaining. Totally the opposite, in fact.
Damn, this is good.
And there you have it. The succulent beef rendang here gets a big thumbs up all round. Will it match up to the real deal? Find out as we travel to West Sumatra for the ultimate taste test. Home to the Padang Mis, otherwise known as the Minangkabau, West Sumatra is the province where the Padang community in Singapore migrated from. Finally, we arrive at Bukit Tinggi, the heart and soul of West Sumatra. With lush greenery peeping out from every corner, it's a refreshing respite from the hustle and bustle of city life. Scenery aside, the utterly sumptuous cuisine found here is one of the best things that Bukit Tinggi has to offer. Well known for its spicy taste, Minangkabau food is especially popular among the Indonesians. As we continue on our quest for authentic beef rendang, we make a detour at Batu Sangkar, where heads of ethnic traditions such as Datuk Batua gather to address adat matters. Adat refers to the set of customary laws and dispute resolution systems that the devout Islamic Minangkabaus adhere to. Datuk Batua tells us that just like the traditional regulations they uphold, food is serious business for the Minangkabaus.
Kebiasaan kami di sini, pagi itu harus makan. Kenapa? Kita harus ke sawah. Nggak bisa ngayun cangkul nanti kalau nggak makan. Sehingga kemana-mana orang Minang itu suka makan. Kalau kita suka makan, orang lain juga diajak makan ya. Sehingga di mana-mana orang Padang ini suka menjual nasi.
Well, that explains why most of the Minangkabaus who settled down in Singapore eventually ended up in the restaurant trade. But it doesn't answer our question on what the original beef rendang tastes like. We're told, however, that our next destination will reveal all. It's 5 a.m. in the morning, and Unicha is preparing the food to be served at her restaurant, Nasi Kapau Unicha. But what's Nasi Kapau? To put it simply, it's a variant of the ever-popular Nasi Padang.
Kalau nasi Padang tumis semua, bumbunya panas semua, pakai merica, pakai semua, ditumis. Santannya berapa? Kalau nasi kapau, dimasakkan santannya dulu, keluar minyaknya, baru kasih bumbu.
Once a small warung or stall by the roadside, this eatery has come a long way since its founding in 1981. Although the affable lady boss now has 10 workers, she prefers to handle all the cooking in order to maintain quality control. Not one to fall behind the times, Unicha has even found a way to combine modern technology with her traditional cooking methods. According to her, a gas stove is sufficient for fish since its tender flesh requires less time to cook. Meat like beef and chicken, on the other hand, still require the use of a wooden stove.
Kalau api kayunya nih, rasanya enak, cuma lagi bumbunya tuh meresap. Anak-anak sekarang kan susah masak sama kayunya kan kotor, jelek, nggak mau susah. Dia mau sama gas, sama yang mewah. Nanti ibu sudah mati nanti biar aja yang mewah, yang apa aja. Kalau kini kan gas kita nggak boleh ditinggalkan, gas kapau nih. Orang sekarang mau tumis, mau cepat.
As we continue to observe Unicha at work, something strikes us. She doesn't use measuring devices of any kind. So how does she ensure the right mix of ingredients time after time?
Di perasaan aja, sudah biasa. Nah, takar-takar susah lah. Dimang dulu, ditakar dulu kan susah.
Good things come to those who wait. And Unicha's beef rendang is definitely worth the 3 days it takes to prepare it. Wait a minute, did we say 3 days?
Sama 3 hari, dipanaskan, diangkat sebentar. Dipanaskan, diangkat sebentar. Bisa cukup sebulan tahannya. Kalau jual sekarang, masak sekarang, tuh ibu nak jamin, nggak enak, nggak meresap rasanya.
The result? A scrumptious treat that gets better with every bite. At 8 a.m., Nasi Kapau Unicha is ready for business. So that means it's time for a hard-working chef to take a break, right? Not quite. It's actually marketing time for Unicha as she gets ready to shop for the ingredients needed the next day. Over at Pasar Bawah, we ooh and ah at the sheer variety of fresh goods available. And fresh is definitely the order of the day, as vegetables, fish, and beef are eagerly snapped up by customers like Unicha. The same goes for the poultry sold in the market, which is cut and skinned on demand. Well, if you haven't realized it by now, coconut milk is one of the base ingredients for all Padang dishes. And in order to get the best coconut milk, mature coconuts are usually at the top of any chef's list. Over here, a milking machine churns out the desired product once you've picked out your coconuts. The first milking gives us a thick and rich liquid, just right for cooking rendang. The second and third milking, however, are less rich and better suited to making curry. And when it comes to spices, you're spoiled for choice with a wide range on offer. From shallots and ginger to galangal and chili, whole or ground, you can get them all right here. In fact, watching the grinding of these spices reminds us of a high-impact exercise. It takes skill, dedication, and energy to do it. No mean feat when you consider that these ladies grind chili for a whopping 8 hours every day. Now, that's hot. From Singapore, we've traveled all the way to Bukit Tinggi, West Sumatra, to explore the origins of Padang cuisine. And just like its food, the mosques in Padang boast an impressive history. The Minangkabau are devout Muslims, so it's no surprise that mosques are a common feature of the West Sumatran landscape. A distinct feature of these structures is the circular dome, evidence of the strong Persian influence on West Sumatran architecture. However, Buddhist and Hindu influences are still apparent in some of the older mosques, a throwback to the era before Islam arrived in the 16th century. The revered caretaker of one such mosque, the Masjid Raya Lima Kaum, tells us more.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Jauh sebelum ini dibangun, Cina di kota Padang sudah membangun berbagai macam gedung. Cina dikenal mempunyai arsitektur yang bagus-bagus pada waktu itu. Belanda pakai itu yang banyak, maka orang kita juga pakai itu. Panggillah seorang Cina arsitek untuk membangun ini.
Islam's strong presence can also be felt in the daily activities of the Minangkabaus. On Fridays, Muslim men put a halt to their regular activities to fulfill their spiritual obligations.
Kalau hari Jumat itu pada umumnya kalau kami orang pelaut ini istirahat. Soalnya nanti kita kan habis kita melakukan yang mau salat Jumat. Jadi kalau kita pergi melaut hari Jumat ini kan nggak enak rasanya.
Rizal goes fishing twice a day, once in the early morning and once in the evening. Depending on the season, he and his fellow fishermen can catch between 10 to 100 kilograms of fish in a day. Their daily takings amount to about 5 to 8 Singapore dollars per person. Rizal has been a fisherman in Padang all his life, just like his father before him. So does he hope that his children will follow in his footsteps?
Kalau dapat kita kan profesi anak ini kalau kita nelayan, anaknya kan harus kalau dapat nggak lebih tinggi lagi daripada kita. Kalau kita nelayan ini kan berkecimpung kita kan di laut aja, jadi kita itu pergaulan kita itu aja. Jadi kalau anak itu bekerja kan pergaulannya lebih luas lagi.
As of now, Rizal has saved up enough from his daily earnings over the years to finance his son's further education in the field of IT. But on a regular day, what exactly do fishermen like Rizal reel in? Well, say hello to your favorite fish, stingray. Once they reach the shore, the catch of the day is sold to the local fish agent for distribution. Beyond the Bukit Tinggi markets, the fish caught are also exported to Malaysia, Japan, and our very own Singapore. Upon reaching Singapore, the fish makes its way to kitchens like this one. Everyone's favorite grilled fish, ikan bakar, is on the menu. We can feel our stomachs rumbling already. But it's not quite ready yet. To make this dish complete, we need to add a special yellow sauce made from spices like ginger and turmeric powder. Unlike its predecessor in West Sumatra, the ikan bakar here includes coconut.
Coconut makes the fish even softer and all that. Right? It blends. And surprisingly, people from Padang come down to the restaurant and eat. They love the ikan bakar here.
A dash of green chili and onions and a splash of sweet sauce also gives the dish a little more oomph. No wonder the ikan bakar is such a huge hit at this Minang restaurant. And behind this success is the 27-year-old Hazmi, the heir to a Nasi Padang legacy. 4 years ago, the engineering diploma holder made a decision that changed his life.
I quit my job, so I came down here straight away. I go to the kitchen, and that's where I see how my mom worked every morning and all that. So I see how hard they work to survive in Singapore, especially. From there, I opened up myself, so that's where I learned how to cook.
Hazmi gave the family business a further boost when he injected it with some modern touches.
Meeting people from all sorts of life. Serving them is my passion, and the other thing is the challenge. It's difficult, it's a difficult job, but my parents can do it, why not me, right? I'm willing to help, I'm willing to improvise the restaurant and all that into a better concept.
A similar passion courses through the veins of 27-year-old Chandra over in Batu Sangkar, West Sumatra, who returned home to run his family's restaurant after a 10-year stint in Jakarta. Opened 25 years ago, Pondok Flora's central location has made it a favorite with locals and tourists alike.
Kerja di sana mungkin sepertinya tidak cocok sama saya, tidak cocok di kantoran. Lebih suka merdeka di kampung, lebih tenang gitu. Lihat alam yang begitu indah di sini kan. Nah, jadi kita buat memacunya sama aja. Yang penting hidupnya lebih tenang.
Looking at the gorgeous surroundings, it's not difficult to see why Chandra loves his home so much. And it's sure to work up an appetite for Pondok Flora's signature dish, ikan bakar. Selling at 350 Singapore dollars per kilo, the nilapin fish is caught fresh from the pond below and grilled with a special barbecue sauce concocted by Chandra's parents. Although it contains as many spices as its Singaporean counterpart, this sauce has zero traces of coconut milk. Not one, not two, but 3 generous helpings of the sauce ensure that it's hot stuff. But if you'd prefer a less spicy version, don't hesitate to ask. Not convinced by the universal appeal of Pondok Flora's ikan bakar? Well, just take a look at these customers who insist on stopping by for a bite, even though their wives have already packed lunch for them.
Enak gitu karena bumbu-bumbunya masuk dalam ikannya gitu, jadi enak.
But is the spice factor the only thing that differentiates the Singaporean dining experience from this one? Well, as you may have noticed, the presentation of the various dishes available is starkly different. In Singapore, we only order what we want to eat. In West Sumatra, however, a whole array of food is presented once you sit yourselves down at a table. The best part, you only pay for what you eat. But right now, there's only one question on our minds. Will those plates ever fall?
Kalau gempa. Alhamdulillah nggak gempa, nggak jatuh.
Next on our eating list, a unique fried chicken that's guaranteed to make you drool. Ayam pop.
Ini sebagai ayam pop, sebetulnya tanpa sengaja. Waktu saat itu terjadi pop-popan seluruh tahun 50-an, kita tercetuslah namanya ayam pop. Sudah dipopulerkan di generasi ke generasi. Itu awalnya ayam pop.
For those who need their daily dose of greens, you'll find them in the form of steamed tapioca leaves and long beans. And don't forget the spicy chili sauce.
Ini bikin pop.
Its porcelain white complexion hints that the chicken is steamed, but it's really fried. Just as we're wondering what other secrets this fried chicken has, Yul kindly opens his kitchen to share the ultimate secret of all, his ayam pop recipe. It turns out to be simpler than expected. In fact, all you need to do is marinate the chicken with water, salt, and vinegar till it turns a pristine white. And voila, there you have it.
Hasil proses baru kita masukkan untuk siap saji.
And at 150 Singapore dollars per piece, ayam pop sure pops our senses. In fact, we're sure that our next stop will leave you tingling in anticipation as well. We all know that rice is part of the Minangkabao's staple diet. But did you know that tapioca plays a significant part in their eating habits as well? Yep, tapioca is a well-loved snack in both Singapore and West Sumatra, especially in the form of spicy tapioca chips, keripik balado. Once sold in a small alleyway, keripik balado has become a must-have snack found in nearly every household, thanks to the dedication of Christine Hakim.
Saya pun dari mulai usaha sampai sekarang tidak pernah pinjam uang bank, tidak pernah dibantu oleh siapapun. Jadi dengan modal apa adanya.
Today, with a daily turnover of 3,000 Singapore dollars and a staff of 35 to support her, Christine is well on her way to building her own food empire. Located right in the heart of Padang City, Christine's factory churns out no less than 300 kilograms of tapioca that are sliced, cleaned, and fried to perfection every day. To ensure that each chip is crunchy enough, a crisp test is meticulously conducted by tapping on the chips. Sounds like a tiring task to us, but it's definitely worth the effort. In the final stages of processing, the chips are coated with a spicy and sweet sauce. This tangy sauce is what gets the customer's gastric juices going. After all that spiciness, it's time to tame our fiery taste buds. So Christine takes us to cool off at a famous dessert stall in the city. To our surprise, Christine's favorite dessert turns out to be something close to our hearts, or to be more accurate, our stomachs.
Saya akan ajak kamu makan es durian ya, yang terkenal, enak banget es durian Padang.
Iced durian sounds like the ideal way to combat Padang City's hot weather. But how will it match up to our varied durian concoctions back home? Well, there's only one way to find out.
Kamu bikinkan es duriannya yang spesial ya, yang banyak duriannya ya. Iya, yang double durian.
Wow! An extra helping of durian? Christine sure knows how to indulge. As she waits for her order to be served, we take a peek behind the scenes. There's jelly, grass jelly, chendol. Hey, hang on, is that really chendol? Yes, it is, and white chendol no less. Wow, now that's something you won't find in Singapore. Next up, a hefty dose of snow ice and syrup ensures that the throne is ready for the king of fruits to take his place. If that's not enough, this dessert is also topped with a healthy serving of condensed milk to fulfill the cravings of all you sugar junkies out there.
Nah, ini yang spesialnya ya. Terima kasih ya. Biar diratakan dulu, diratakan supaya ratanya rasanya ya, diratakan. Coba nih saya mulai makan lagi. Enak banget. Ini memang tidak salah terkenal di Kota Padang. Kalau tidak makan es durian ini, rugi. Benar-benar enak.
Say no more, Christine. We're sold. One more iced durian over here, please. Still hot on the trail of Minangkabau cuisine, we continue our exploration of Singapore's nasi padang back in its homeland, West Sumatra. Earlier on, we were introduced to one of Singapore's top Malay favorites, beef rendang. But that's definitely not the only beef dish that's been causing a stir. Another hot seller is dendeng balado, a dish of thinly sliced beef that's deep fried and served with chili. While most Singaporeans would stop at consuming the regular parts of the cow, however, we find that the eating habits of the Minangkabau are somewhat different. No part of the cow goes to waste in West Sumatra. But what exactly is each part used for? To find out, we track down our bovine companions to the place where it all begins, the slaughterhouse. These internal organs, also known as offal in culinary terms, are considered common by Minangkabau food standards. Often seen on the menus of eateries around Bukit Tinggi, there's a wide range of offal dishes available for all you adventurous foodies waiting to take the next exotic bite. Balado paru, made from cow lungs, may still ring a bell with some Singaporeans, but that's not the case for parts like intestines or cow feet, which are unavailable in Singapore due to health reasons. Extreme gourmets will also not want to miss the next Minangkabau dish, Satay Padang. It's the specialty of Satay Mak Syukur. This delicacy bears a striking resemblance to our favorite satay at home. Served with ketupat and fried shallots, just one tender juicy bite of the Satay Padang will leave you craving for more.
Pas lah gitu, nggak kayak daging sembarangan gitu. Dagingnya bagus lah kualitasnya. Di sate-sate luar kan kadang-kadang ada yang kayak manisnya gitu. Ini terasa pedas sih, sedap.
But just what is it about this Satay Padang that makes it so special? To get the inside scoop, we head to the place with all the answers, the Open Concept Kitchen. Though chicken and beef are common in Singapore, cow offal is the meat of choice in West Sumatra. Grilled over coconut charcoal till crispy, a pungent yellow sauce made from a spicy meat broth rounds it off nicely. Quite a change from the usual peanut sauce we're used to.
Kalau di sini dagingnya segar, paginya dipotong, siangnya dimasak gitu.
On weekdays, Satay Mak Syukur sells around 406 of Satay Padang on average, but on weekends, the number escalates to a jaw-dropping 1,200 sticks. Pretty impressive, huh? Well, before we head on our way, we've got a little tip for you. To complete the Satay Padang experience, use the keropok jange, also known as crackers made from cow skin, to scoop up the remains of the spicy sauce. With such a penchant for big appetites and big meals, it comes as little surprise that the term big is also significant when it comes to the living quarters of the Minangkabau. The traditional homes of the Minangkabau, or rumah gadang, literally translate into big houses that serve as both a communal residence and a hall for family meetings and ceremonies. In Singapore, the closest thing we can find to the rumah gadang is the miniature display at the Malay Heritage Center. Largely constructed from wood, the rumah gadang's roof is usually covered with thatch. Here in West Sumatra, even the smaller single residences share the architectural style of the traditional rumah gadang, right down to its dramatically curved roofs in the shape of buffalo horns. Now that we've seen what an authentic rumah gadang looks like, it's time to check out its modern spin-off version. Built in 1991, Pusako Hotel is the first 4-star hotel in West Sumatra. Established as a means of catering to the increasing demands of Bukit Tinggi's tourism industry, the hotel has continued to hold its own in the architecture department. Based on the model of the traditional rumah gadang, the design of the Pusako Hotel has incorporated some modern elements that convey its ever-changing worldview.
Setengah gonjong. Artinya begini, kalau tradisional betul, itu kan sebenarnya itu rumah adat yang diperuntukkan untuk tradisi-tradisi, katakan seremonial Minangkabau. Tapi ini kita welcome buat seluruh tamu mancanegara dan segala macamnya. Jadi kita hanya mengambil setengah bagian dari atap tersebut.
Nevertheless, the spirit of the traditional rumah gadang is very much present in the interior design of the hotel, such as this carving of makan bejamba, also known as eating together. Indeed, that's the best way to feast on nasi padang. So far, we've seen how cows and buffaloes serve a variety of purposes in the food and architecture of the Minangkabaus. But did you know that plates also carry a special meaning for the Minangkabaus? Other than being used to serve food, they also feature significantly in the Minangkabaus' most famous plate dance, tari piring.
Misalnya gini, orang setelah melakukan panen, setelah berhasil panennya, mereka mengungkapkan kegembiraannya bermain-main, dan di sana mereka melakukan hiburan seperti menari-nari, dan di sana karena sedang makan, jadi mereka menggunakan piring. Dulunya piring yang mereka gunakan bukan seperti piring yang sekarang kita makan. Kita menggunakan tempurung dari kelapa itu. Karena sudah kemajuan zamannya, mereka baru menggunakan piring yang seperti sekarang kita lihat ini untuk menari.
In tari piring, balance is the key skill that its dancers have to master.
Awalnya kami belajar mungkin di atas rumput aja, jadi kalau jatuh jadi nggak takut. Atau kalau sudah berani baru di atas yang keras.
However, such precautions don't seem to have worked very well for everyone. Adong, for one, admits that he's broken more plates than he can remember.
Mungkin sudah satu lusin.
Practice makes perfect. So it's good to know that the efforts of Adong and his friends have enabled them to become expert tari piring dancers. To perform tari piring, Adong has traveled nearly as extensively as his native cuisine, even visiting Singapore on one such occasion. And one thing that always gets a resounding round of applause is the dance's foot-stomping finale. Talk about suffering for the sake of your art. In fact, Adong tells us that he hurt himself when he first started learning this particular technique. Nevertheless, he maintains that the injury contributed to his eventual perfection of the move.
Tari piring ini lukanya nggak boleh dijahit, memang dibiarkan seperti itu aja, dia akan nanti habis sendiri aja.
Guess it's true what they say. No pain, no gain. But for the rest of you, please don't try this at home. It's almost nightfall as we head back on the road again. Fortunately for us, that's just in time to head over to the famed Padang Panjang Market. An ordinary unassuming market by day, Padang Panjang Market transforms into a buzzing hub of activity at night, going strong to the wee hours of the morning. We've heard that one of the most unique dishes here is bubur kampiun, so we're off to discover what the hype is all about. Traditionally eaten by the Minangkabaus during breakfast, bubur kampiun is a popular evening snack at Padang Panjang Market. The word kampiun means mix, and as we find out, that's an apt description of this snack. With bread as its base, bubur kampiun involves the use of a wide variety of ingredients ranging from glutinous rice and green bean soup to coconut milk and pomegranate seeds. Served with sarabi, otherwise known as the Minangkabau pancake, this snack is a veritable explosion of flavors. Yummy! Over in another corner of the stall, we spy something that looks like our favorite teh tarik drink. It turns out to be teh telur, yet another Minangkabau delicacy. A frothy mix of egg yolk, sugar, condensed milk, boiling hot tea, and a dash of lime, it's a sweet beverage that more than adequately quenches our thirst. Moving along, we come across a potent brew unlike anything we've ever seen before. Betel nut juice! We've all chewed the odd betel nut or two in our time, but never quite like this. Made from betel nut, duck egg, and you guessed it, condensed milk, this bittersweet juice is believed to improve one's sexual drive. We're not too sure how accurate that theory is, but one thing's for sure, the Minangkabaus can never get too much of a sweet thing. Much like the early Malay community in Singapore, the food stalls at Padang Panjang Market are a rich collection of flavors and vendors from all over Indonesia. There's mutton satay from Madura, jamu from Java, siumai from Bandung. The list is seemingly endless. One such migrant stallholder is bakso seller Mr. Fatur, who left his Surabayan hometown in 2002.
Saya suka tinggal di Padang Panjang ya. Pertama, hawanya dingin, nggak terlalu panas. Kemudian nggak bising, tenang. Jadi mau ngapa-ngapain juga enak.
Originally a Chinese dish, bakso or beef ball soup is just one of many foods that have been adapted to cater to the Indonesian palate. And this hot soup is the perfect complement to Padang Panjang's cool weather. As we move into the last leg of our journey before returning to Singapore, we wonder what other surprises the land of the Minangkabau will have for us. Over at Lake Singkarak, the Minangkabaus are up and about early in the morning, going straight to work after morning prayers. Situated between the regencies of Tanah Datar and Solok, this breathtaking lake is more than just another scenic spot. It's also the home to a species of fish known as ikan bile. Yes, you heard it right the first time. It's ikan bile with a H, a cousin of the ikan bilis we know and love back in Singapore. A major source of livelihood for the people who live around the lake, the ikan bile bred here leave a unique taste that can't be reproduced anywhere else.
Itu dasarnya pasir, batu-batuan. Dia makanannya itu makanan yang bersih semua. Tidak ada lumpur, tidak ada apa. Paling makannya lumut-lumut itulah.
Like most others who reside near Lake Singkarak, Abdul has taken advantage of his proximity to this sought-after fish by putting it on his nasi padang menu.
Siapa yang punya ambil boleh. Jangan pakai racun, pakai dinamik nggak boleh. Pakai pancing, pakai berjaring boleh.
So what happens to the ikan bile once they're caught? Firstly, the fish have to be cleaned and gutted before they're anywhere close to being served at our dinner tables. We come to the startling realization that the ladies don't even need knives to do their job. Blink and you'll miss the quick ease with which the guts are removed from each fish, using a single firm press to the fish's stomach no less.
Belajarnya kan bapaknya nelayan, tiap hari kerjanya ini. Ya kalau udah biasa.
In a week, these ladies can handle up to 100 kilos of ikan bile. Now that really takes a lot of guts. Following that gut-wrenching experience, it's time to find out where the ikan bile are sold.
Ini yang digoreng, sudah digoreng. Ini yang saya jual di warung saya ini. Ini yang kering.
Selling at 9 Singapore dollars per kilo, these ikan bile are distributed to nasi padang restaurants throughout West Sumatra. Back in the kitchen, Abdul shares his recipe from the balado ikan bile. As Abdul grinds the base for the balado, he tells us that although tomatoes are a common ingredient in the paste, he strongly advises against it. Apparently, the acids released by tomatoes will override the crispiness of the fried ikan bile, leaving them limp and soggy. The chili paste sizzles in the frying pan before the fried ikan bile is added and left to seep for about 5 minutes. There! All done! Ah, that really hits the spot. And the terrific view of the lake is a bonus that we're only too happy to savor. Leaving the tranquility of Lake Singkarak, we soon get back into the flurry of activity that is Padang City. Our mission? Embark on a quest to find the elusive Soto Padang. No stranger to the Singapore palate, the soto in Singapore originates from Java and commonly uses chicken broth as a base. Here in the land of the Minangkabaus, however, Soto Padang is characterized by its use of beef broth instead. Like the soto sold in Singapore, the Soto Padang here uses bergedil, otherwise known as potato croquettes. But that's where the similarities end. Rather than serving the bergedil as a side dish, in West Sumatra, it is mixed right into the soto itself. But surely that's not all that makes the Soto Padang so special.
Kalau yang bikin khas soto Padang ini dagingnya gitu. Kalau dagingnya itu nggak basah, kering. Terus kuahnya nggak terlalu berlemak.
Similar in texture to the thinly sliced beef in dendeng balado, this beef dish wins hands down when it comes to crispiness. After all, how often is it that you find your beef staying so crispy even after encountering a bowl of hot soup? Served with rice and crackers, Soto Padang is a welcome alternative to the heavy nasi padang dishes we've been sampling so far. No wonder then that it's a delicacy that Teddy misses the most from his hometown.
Soto Padang, you can't find in Singapore.
Hailing from Bukit Tinggi, Teddy moved to Singapore 14 years ago when he was given the chance to study civil engineering at Nanyang Technological University. After graduation, Teddy continued to work in Singapore, eventually settling down with his wife, also a Bukit Tinggi native.
Basically, it's about working opportunities. If I go back to my hometown at this point of time, probably I wouldn't be able to to be doing the same thing like what I am doing now, but there is a chance for me to go back probably when I get older. It's quite similar to what is the concept in the rantau culture.
Merantau, or migration, is an integral part of the Minangkabau way of life. Once they reach their teenage years, the Minangkabau men are usually encouraged to leave their kampongs to seek their fortunes. More often than not, they migrate to the bigger Indonesian cities or go abroad, just like Teddy did. Fortunately for Teddy, he can count on his wife to whip up his favorite nasi padang dishes to chase away those hometown blues. Among his favorite dishes is gulai ayam, better known as chicken curry. Unlike West Sumatra, where fresh coconut milk is readily available at the market, Cici relies on the convenience of packaged coconut milk from a Singaporean supermarket instead. Coconut milk is one thing, but how about the wide range of spices used to cook this flavorful dish?
Roughly the spices are there, except for normally there are one or two that we can't find here. Like for example, when you want to cook the gulai, then you need the asam kandis that is only available back in hometown.
Asam kandis is a dark sun-dried fruit. Used largely in the Minangkabau's cooking, it serves to keep the meat in place when it's cooked over a long period of time, just like the gulai ayam over here. Gulai ayam aside, Cici has also prepared some stir-fried vegetables and egg balado. Tuck in, everyone! Over in West Sumatra, we found housewife Tek Yan on the way home from the market. She too is preparing to cook lunch for her husband.
Kalau di Padang, kalau perempuannya harus masak. Soalnya suaminya kan makan di rumah, gitu.
Unlike Cici, however, Tek Yan's children are both living away from home, so her husband is the only one who gets to enjoy her home-cooked meals.
Anaknya merantau di Jakarta satu, di sekolah di Padang satu. Udah 20. Yang kecil, yang gede tuh udah 23. Kangen. Kangen lah sama anak.
To keep herself occupied, Tek Yan also busies herself by tending to the paddy field behind her house. Keeping a watchful eye on Tek Yan as she starts preparing the homeland version of gulai ayam, we find that the ingredients used are pretty much the same ones that Cici used. The only difference we've noticed so far is that Tek Yan adds her chicken into the mix first, instead of the spices. Another significant similarity, they both use lots of coconut milk.
Santannya kalau banyak tambah enak. Ini sudah masak, sekarang kita masak rendang itiak lagi.
Rendang itiak, or duck rendang, is a celebrated dish among the Minangkabaus. In case you're wondering, rendang is a cooking style, not a dish in itself. Besides the beef rendang that we gobbled up earlier, other meat like mutton and chicken is also cooked in a similar fashion. In Singapore, however, beef and chicken rendang rule the roost as it's difficult to obtain halal duck. We wonder how different it'll taste from the rendang that we're used to in Singapore.
Kalau rendang daging sama bawang putih aja sama merica, bukan pakai laos. Rendang itiak sama daging masaknya sama 3 kali. Sama-sama enak.
3 days? We can't wait for that long. But as it turns out, the 3 days waiting rule is just an option. That's good news for us, because the fragrant smell arising from the simmering duck is really whetting our appetites. Right on cue, Tek Yan's husband, Mak Ashar, steps in for lunch.
Assalamualaikum.
With his hectic schedule as a driver, this home-cooked meal is the one thing he looks forward to every day. It's a feast fit for a king as we lay our eyes upon Tek Yan's other additions to the bountiful meal before us, eel balado and banana balado. The latter reminds us of banana fritters with sambal. We guess it's an acquired taste. The duck rendang, on the other hand, is tasty beyond our wildest dreams. As we enjoy the ample spread provided by our lovely hosts, it's time to sit back and let all the unforgettable moments on our West Sumatran journey sink in. If there was only one thing we could take away with us from this journey, it would be the knowledge of the rich food heritage that our Minangkabau ancestors have passed on to us. Till our next culinary undertaking, selamat menjamu selera. In other words, bon appetit!